there's a lot of first generation electric units which are a perfect candidate for making use of this sound profile, and in many respects that makes it one of the most versatile profiles that Hornby have yet to release. A big hello to you. It is so great to see you and I hope I find you well. I'm Jenny Kirk, welcoming you up here to Weir Yard, and if you're wondering why I look a little bit David Dickinson orange, it's because I've been on holiday, went to Italy. We've got a full video coming up on Friday showing you just what I've been up to there, and whilst I was there I had a look at that big yellow thing that they got going on in the sky, and it turned my skin this rather fetching brown colour. Don't worry, it'll soon fade here in the UK. But today we're going to be talking about HM7000, the Hornby TXS Bluetooth decoders again. Now this is a range we've done quite a few videos on this, showing profiles, showing installations, and giving you the full nuts and bolts of how to use it. So I'm not going to dwell on all of that in today's video. The purpose of this is to show you one of the new profiles that is currently about a week or so away from public release. It's going through the beta testing group, and I thought it was a great opportunity to show you the first new all-electric profile from Hornby in the TXS range, because this is sure to be incredibly popular because it has a lot of scope to be used in a range of EMUs over and above the class 423 or 4 VEP that it is based on.
How very delightful!
Hornby themselves have in the past released the class 401, the 402 and the 403 Brighton Bell, and other manufacturers too have brought to the market class 410, 411, 416 and 419 to name but a few. So there's a lot of options to be able to make full use of this electric EMU profile. Today I'm going to be fitting it to a class 401 2-HAL unit. Now this is a model which Hornby have released a number of times in the past, and I've noticed that it is available second hand at some really keen prices too from a number of different places, so it's quite easy to get hold of, and it's a perfect candidate for my collection to test out the class 423 4 VEP sound profile on the TXS decoder. What I'm going to be doing is showing you a full install of the decoder and the speaker, showing just how easy it is to integrate it into the model without impinging on the insides. And once we've got it all up and running, I'm going to be giving you a full playthrough of the sound suite of that class 423, so you can judge for yourself if this is one that you want to fit into your fleet. So come with me and let's get on with this full install of the TXS decoder into a Hornby 401 unit and a full playthrough of that sound suite, the first all-electric sound suite from the Hornby TXS range. Today's video comes in association with Trainomatic, makers of DCT decoders and accessories that are designed by enthusiasts for enthusiasts. Find the full range available to order now at tramfabriek.co.uk. Additional support comes from...
This is Clark Railworks, and this is what we do. You'll know us from Ellis Clark Trains, and you'll get the same friendly expertise with us too. We've got a huge range of pre-owned model railways from all your favourite manufacturers, and maybe some you hadn't heard of before. It's the place to come for quality. We don't stock substandard models, and everything we sell is fully tested and photographed by model railway experts. No matter whether you model 00 gauge, N, HO or more, we have sought after models from all around the world with new listings added every weekday. Check out what's available now at clarkrailworks.com and don't miss out on your latest logo.
I must admit that I've become a real fan of the Bluetooth decoders, and even if you don't actually use the Bluetooth side of things, I think it's a great way of being able to upload to your locomotive the exact sound profile that you want. It also gives you the ability to move it between different locomotives if, say, you sell something on from your fleet, or you just perhaps maybe get bored of using a particular model and want to test out sound in something different. The Bluetooth gives you full control for that. I also love the ease with which you can adjust CVs with a really user-friendly GUI interface, and even if you wanted to run your locomotives, it has easy access to all of those higher level functions which even on something like the NCE power cab that I use, whilst they are accessible, they're not exactly user friendly. So there's a lot of great plus points to these Bluetooth decoders. And today's fitting marks the first all-electric profile from Hornby. But before we get into that, I want to ask a huge favour of you. Please do hit that like button and share this video, and if you haven't already done so, do please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to be the first to know about new videos as and when they go out. We've got a link down below to help you find the Hornby TXS decoders, and that takes you to Rails of Sheffield. And of course, don't forget that you can also support your local retailer. Use it or lose it, and we are a big advocate of that here. But let's get on with this full install and playthrough. Today I'm back with the Hornby HM7000 TXS decoders, and the reason for this is that there's a profile that I've got access to on the beta test group which has not quite yet been released but is due out in the next couple of weeks or so, and I thought that this would be a great opportunity to show this off to you because it's the first all-electric profile in the HM7000 range. I am of course talking about the 4 VEP or Class 423 sound profile, which is imminent from Hornby. And I thought rather than just fit this into a diesel or a steam locomotive and play you the sounds, I'd show you just how versatile this sound profile is by taking it and applying it to a Hornby Class 401 electric unit. Now, it won't be exactly the same as how these sounded in real life, but it's definitely going to be a close fit. And that also means that it's useful for the Class 402 that Hornby did. They did a 403, the Brighton Bell, and from other manufacturers too. We've got the Class 410, Class 411, and classes 416 and 419. So there's a lot of first generation electric units which are a perfect candidate for making use of this sound profile, and in many respects that makes it one of the most versatile profiles that Hornby have yet to release. And of course at the time of filming this we're about 2 weeks away from that being out there, so I'm going to show you the full suite of sounds but also how to get it fitted into one of these models. Now the Class 401 is one of the models which I'm seeing a lot of great deals out there on for these second hand, and certainly you can pick these up in Southern Railway Green, BR Southern Region Green, and also BR Rail Blue as well. And of course the Class 401, there is a preserved example in the National Railway Museum. So first up, we're going to need to get into this model, and that is something that can at first glance be just a little bit tricky to ascertain what you're supposed to do. There's no obvious screws, but actually the way that these go together is the body is just clipped on. Now it is a little bit of difficult access, and this is where growing your nails just a little bit longer is perfect for being able to get in underneath. So just take a little bit of time to work your fingernails in underneath, and you'll see you can just push the body and chassis apart and then slide your fingernail across, and somewhere at either end there is a plastic clip that clips the body into the chassis. Don't be tempted to grab onto any of the detailing. This will just come off. Just very carefully get yourself in there, and if you need to, we can just slot something like an old business card or a store card, that kind of thing, in just to hold that away from the side. And just feel for that click, and we're going to leave that in there. I'm going to use a business card on this side as well, and just slowly work these in. Once you've got one end entirely free, you should be able to start lifting the body clear, and you can see inside We've got the moulded plastic insert for the interior, and you can also take the opportunity to give this a paint up, maybe even add some sitting passengers at the same time. The model itself features an 8-pin decoder socket hidden away at this end. So first things first, we're just going to make sure we very carefully rock free the existing 8-pin decoder that's in here. I'm going to set that to one side. I'm going to be able to reuse that in another model so it doesn't go to waste. And then let's get the HM7000 decoder out of the box, and we start working out the spacing for the speaker and for the decoder where we're going to put them. Now it comes with the full set of speaker enclosures, but I tend to like to store those out of the way, and then I've got a big pile of spare ones from previous installations, and I'm going to go through these and see if any of these are usable rather than breaking into a new sprue. Ideally, I'd want to fit one of the largest enclosures, but we might just struggle a little bit on space. The first place that you might consider putting a speaker is underneath the floor and seating, but believe me, there's not actually that much space under there. It's a completely flat floor of the chassis, and there's not enough headroom to fit even the speaker fitted into the smallest enclosure. So let's look elsewhere for space for the speaker to be able to get the best of sound quality out of this. The obvious space is above the seating in the roof area where it can't easily be seen through the windows, but fitting it into the body itself, we don't want to fasten it to this body because that's going to make it quite difficult to get the body on and off, I suspect. Looking to the difference in height between the motor enclosure and the top of this insert, there is just a little bit of headroom that we can fit something up here quite readily without having any great issues. So that's the area that I want to explore. First thing I want to do is the easy part, that's just fitting the decoder in. So first of all, we need to isolate where pin 1 is. That's always the orange wire, and that corresponds with, you can see here, it's been very helpfully marked with an arrow on the 8-pin decoder plug. So line those pins up and just gently push that all the way in. Now there isn't enough space for the decoder to hide away, particularly in this area. It's going to be a tight fit, so what I personally would suggest is to actually just hide the decoder somewhere above the roof. Now that isn't going to be seen through the windows, but it does mean that you've got a decent airflow around the decoder, and I can use a small amount of Captain tape to be able to do that. And this will also make sure that the decoder stays in position once we get the body onto this unit. So just very carefully feed the wires across the top. Just make sure, I'm going to turn it round just so that the decoder plugs are underneath, just to give us a little tiny bit more headroom. Tape up there, over the top and to there, and that will give us something that we can just affix to the underside of the decoder. Start to get it to stay into position. There's a lot of room in this for a stay alive or a power bank. Certainly you can have it in one of the compartments if you're happy for it to be seen through the windows. That is entirely your choice. So I'm just going to carefully fasten that in there, get everything nice and neat. We don't want to cocoon the decoder in tape. We do want to have enough to make sure that everything stays exactly where we want it. So the decoder is now in place, and the next step is to feed the cable and the plug-in for the speaker. So we've got this handed. You can just see there the shape and outline of the JST plug, and we can make sure that's the right way around, and then just plug this in. You can always run this without the power bank to start with, and if you decide you do need it, you can add it at a later date. That's the beauty of these JST connectors. Now, I'm not going to take the sticky off just yet because I want to try out a few different enclosures. And it is starting to look like we're going to need to use one of the cube box style enclosures, and we can just place this down into one of the compartments, and that's going to be the best way that we can make full use of the sound. In fact, I'm going to put it in the final compartment right at the very back. There's enough cable to get us there. So I'm going to go ahead and affix the speaker to the enclosure, and there, push, and we're in. To fix the speaker, I'm going to use a little bit of double-sided 3M tape. Stick that just on the underside, get that into place, down into this final compartment. And that is the largest of the cube style enclosures. That seems absolutely fine. And we can just make sure that we've got all of that wire neatly tucked down. I don't want it dropping down into any of the other compartments. Pull the slack across, and then I'm going to use this just to hold that in place. And there we go. It's quite a nice neat install. From the side you can see the decoder is invisible, and we've just got that speaker cube hidden away in the final of the compartments, and then it's just a case of carefully making sure that we get the body the right way round, and then we're going to clip that down into place. And then when we look through the side, you can't see the decoder itself, only that speaker hidden away at the end here, which is perfectly acceptable. Now it's a case of getting this powered up and getting that profile installed onto it. I've gone ahead and installed the class 423 sound profile onto the decoder. It's a really easy process. I've talked this through in other videos before, so I haven't really dwelled on this. Just needless to say, it's exactly the same process. And I've moved the unit over onto the rolling road on the layout, and this is to be able to have it in one position so I can get, hopefully, the best quality sound recording of this in action. Now the rear bogie, which isn't driven, is up on the rolling road rollers, and this is providing the power pickup for this unit. But I've purposefully balanced the front end of this with the motor bogie hanging in the air to try and minimise any rumbling noise that would otherwise come from the interaction of the wheels and the rolling road, so that hopefully we get the cleanest possible sound with this microphone of the unit at work. First stage is to enable the automatic function control, which is on F28. Now I'm using my DCC control system for this because it's not practical to use my iPhone when I'm also using this for filming, but this is exactly the same as if you did one or the other. It's a little bit more straightforward using the app because you've got easy access to all of the functions, but the F28 function really does make things easy, with the spot sounds being played at appropriate random intervals. The sound profile is characteristic of an electric unit, actually quite quiet, and some of the spot sounds, such as the horns, do come across quite loud as a result, but this is entirely in keeping with the prototype. As I said in the intro, this sound profile is sure to find a great deal of use with a multitude of different electric units, and finally provides a cut price value for money sound option for a number of different electric units that are on the market. Well, I hope you really enjoyed today's video and found it informative. Now, we've got a link down below, which is an affiliate link, which takes you to where you can find the full range of the Hornby HM7000 decoders to purchase at what we believe to be some of the best prices on the internet. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments section just what you thought about this decoder profile, and is this something that maybe you're going to be fitting to members of your fleet. Please leave a comment, and it's always great to hear from you. And of course, you can also help out your fellow enthusiast if you've got any hints and tips that you think add to the topic of today's video. Leave them in the comments down below, and hopefully you'll help out your fellow modelers. Please like, share, subscribe. You can also check out our full merch store. It's somewhere down there under the video. And you can head on over to Patreon and help support the channel to keep making the videos that you want to see. And we really, really do appreciate the help from all of you who are a Patreon and a channel member too. But until next time, this is me, Jenny Kirk, saying you take great care of yourself. Happy modelling. Bye for now. Today's video comes in association with Trainomatic, makers of DCC decoders and accessories that are designed by enthusiasts for enthusiasts. Find the full range available to order now at tramfabriek.co.uk. Additional support is provided by...
This is Clark Railworks, and this is what we do. You'll know us from Ellis Clark Trains, and you'll get the same friendly expertise with us too. We've got a huge range of pre-owned model railways from all your favourite manufacturers, and maybe some you hadn't heard of before. It's the place to come for quality. We don't stock substandard models, and everything we sell is fully tested and photographed by model railway experts. No matter whether you model double-O gauge, N, HO or more, we have sought after models from all around the world with new listings added every weekday. Check out what's available now at clarkrailworks.com and don't miss out on your latest logo.
I'd like to thank everybody over on Patreon, and an extra special huge thanks goes out to our Patreon heroes. Without you guys over on Patreon, we really wouldn't be able to keep making the video content that you see on this channel. And don't forget that you can also head on over to patreon.com/Jennifer Kirk and check out the different tiers of rewards. Thank you so much. You are absolute legends.